Today's session is going to be very traditional, and it's going to be a Tibetan heart sequence. There are several sequences, and this particular sequence is probably reasonably very well known within the yoga world. As you know, yoga originated in India. It went into Tibet, and it went into the monasteries where it stayed in its almost pure form. So this is reflecting that, and also I'm going to be doing modifications, so it's a much modified sequence because the original has headstands, so I won't be doing that. So, can you hear me? And to start, just take your mind to the base of your spine, inside the spine. And we're going to, the Tibetan sequence moves through the chakras on the energy centers. So from the base of the spine, the Muladhara chakra, moving just slightly along between the base of the spine and the end beyond the tailbone, between that point and behind the navel. So the middle point is the sacral chakra. Moving your mind and attention to behind your navel, the Manipura chakra, which is part of your digestive system. Moving along up to behind the chest bone, the heart chakra, inside the spine still. The throat, third eye, and then the crown chakra. Bring your hands together at the heart center. Hands either side of you. And then come to roll onto your knees, tuck your toes, and come to standing however you want to. Rolling up vertebra by vertebra, slowly stacking up to standing. And when you're here, just lift and roll your shoulders and turn your head from side to side. So we start with a very Tibetan movement, which I think we've all done before, which is just moving from side to side, just moving the energy through your system. The Tibetans also have their own system of medicine yoga, and that is called Yantra yoga. And within Yantra yoga, you'll find the same movement, but it's slightly more exaggerated, where you come to hold your shoulders, or slap your shoulders. So you adopt whichever movement feels good for you. Warming up the body. You can lift your heels. Just be comfortable. And then gradually slow your movement down. And then come to stillness. You can move your feet in a little bit to hip width apart. And once more, lift and roll your shoulders. You're opening your energy upwards. And then it doesn't matter which hand, but taking one hand, raising it up above you. Breathe out and ground yourself in. And then breathing in and breathing out, lower your arm. And then the other arm, inhaling up, breathing out as you ground down. Breathing in and breathing out, lower your arm. This time, as you raise your arm upwards, breathing out, turning away from your arm. Breathing in, coming back to the center. And breathing out, lower your arm. And then breathing in with the other arm raised up. If that's too much for you, you can always bend at the elbow. Breathing out, turn your head away from the arm. Breathing in, come to the center. And breathing out, lower your arm. Once more, lift and roll your shoulders and turn your head from side to side. Come towards the top of your mat as we start the warm-ups for this series. We're going to be doing a modified version of Salute to the Sun, and you choose whichever feels good for you. So the choice is always, if you have an issue with your neck, you don't have to look up, you can keep looking straight ahead. And again, with any shoulder issues, you've got the option not to raise your arms so high, but can keep them bent. So, setting your pose, your feet are comfortably hip width apart. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart center, aligning your posture. Inhale, hands up, either looking up or straight ahead, depending on your neck. And breathing out, lower your arms, really bend your knees to bring your hands either side of your feet. Step or slide your right foot back and your right knee goes on the ground. Your toes can be tucked or untucked. Slide or bring your left foot back so that you're kneeling now in cat. Inhaling, dipping your back, either looking up classically or along the ground if that's not good for your neck. And breathing out, round, chin to chest. This activates the vagus nerve. Inhaling, dipping your back. And once more, rounding chin to chest. So we've now got several options, depending on your preference. You can either come into up dog, which is bringing your hands forward and either looking up or not. Or you can just bring your hands back a little bit, come into tucking your toes and into a straight plank. That's quite strong on the shoulders, your heels are up. Whichever option you chose, come back to kneeling in cat. And now your other option is either to stay like this with a cat or a cow, or if you want to take it one step further, bring your elbows in, come to lying on the ground, lift and roll your shoulders, sliding your hands comfortably to where you're going to be able to press up again. Elbows are in. Press on your hands, come back to your knees. Maybe slide your hands back. Throughout these options, you can continue with cat, cow. These are just extras. Tuck your toes underneath. Abdomen in towards the spine to protect your tummy, your abdominal muscles. Come into a stop down dog with your knees bent. And then you can walk your feet slightly closer by, your heels can be up. As you stretch all the way along your spine, your chin is relaxed towards your chest to extend the back of your neck. And then lengthen the backs of your legs, they don't have floor. And pedal through the other. At any time, you're welcome to come back to cat. And then bend both knees and come back to kneeling, cat again. Move your hands to the left and then bring up your right foot. And then place your hands either side of your right foot. Tummy or abdomen in again towards the spine to protect you as you tuck your back left foot underneath. Lift up your left knee. And either step or slide your left foot towards your right foot. Place your hands on your shins. And as you inhale, lengthen your back, chin tucks in so that you've got a straight line from the base of your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Breathing out, bend in, elbows come out. Inhale, press your hands on your shin. Stay here as you breathe out.
And then as you inhale, soften your knees slightly by bending them, and then roll up vertebra by vertebra. You can optionally use your hands to trace up your body. Inhaling, lifting your hands up, either looking up or looking ahead, depending on your neck, and then breathing out, lower your hands and lift and roll your shoulders. I'm going to do the next side quite slowly too, and then we'll speed up, by which time you might have chosen what modifications you want to take. So inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale, hands up, either looking up or looking straight ahead. Breathing out, bend your knees, roll down. Hands either side of your feet. Inhaling, step back with your left foot, left knee on the ground. Your toes are tapped or untapped. Slide your right knee back. And inhaling, dipping your back, looking either up or along the ground. Breathing out, round your back, chin comes to chest. And then either carry on doing a cat-cow, and you can do that throughout, or if you want to join me, tuck your toes, come into either plank, which is straight, or up dog, whichever version you've chosen. Bring your knees now to the ground. You can either do a cat-cow, or you can lay yourself on the ground. Inhaling, lifting and rolling the shoulders, and just adjust your hands as they're comfortable. And that when you press your hands into the ground, your elbows come in to support you. Come back onto your knees for a cat. And then now tapping your toes, but again, you don't have to, you can carry on with cat-cow. Coming into a downward dog, knees bent, lengthening along your spine. And feel that you can adjust your feet wider and more bent, softer on the back. And you can alternately what we call walk the dog by softening one knee and then extending that leg and then the other. And you can move your bottom also from side to side as you sway. Bring your abdomen very slightly or engage it in slightly to protect your back, and then bend both knees to come back to the ground in cat. Hands come to the right. That gives you space to bring up your left foot, and then hands either side of your left foot, tucking your back right toes, lifting up your right knee and stepping your right foot to your left foot. Hands on your shins as you inhale, lengthening all the way from your bottom or your tailbone to the top of your head. Your chin comes in, it lengthens your neck. Breathing out, bend in, elbows out. Inhale, press your hands on your shins. Stay here for the exhalation. And then inhale, soften your knees, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, standing. Inhaling, raising your arms, either looking up or looking straight ahead. You can stretch your fingers out as if you're holding a ball. Your thumbs come backwards, your little fingers forwards. And then breathing out, lower your hands. And inhale, exhale, lower your shoulders. So the next round is slightly quicker, and I hope that you picked up what modifications suit you. So inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, stretch up, looking up or ahead. Breathing out, roll down. Inhale, step your right foot back, right knee on the ground. Left foot back. You're kneeling, cat. Dipping your back, looking up. And then rounding your back, chin comes to chest. Carry on doing that by all means. If you want to join me, come to plank, a straight line, or come to up dog. And whichever you choose, now lower your knees back down to the ground. You can stay here if you don't want to come to lying and carry on with cat-cow, but otherwise come to lying. Lift and roll your shoulders, bringing your elbows in. You can adjust your hands to get a good lift that's comfortable with you. Come back up to kneeling. Tuck your toes. Make any adjustments with your hands and legs to come into a downward dog. And moving my feet forward and further apart. Bending the knees and straightening. You can do them one at a time, or you can do them together. Each time you bend your knees, it gives you the opportunity to stretch your lower back out. Stretch along your spine. And then bending both knees, coming down to the ground. Hands go to the left as your foot goes up to the right. Hands either side of your right foot. Tucking your back toes, abdomen in, lifting your back left knee, and stepping your left foot to your right foot. Hands on the shins for support. Breathing in, lengthening from the tail all the way along the tailbone, from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, bend your knees, elbows out. Inhaling, straighten your legs, press your hands on the shins. Stay here as you breathe out. And then bending your knees, pressing your feet into the ground as you roll up, stacking your vertebrae one on top of the other to stand, and then raising your hands up. And then breathing out, lower your hands. And then we come to the last part. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, left foot back, left knee on the ground. Right foot comes back. Dip your back cat. Breathing out, round your back. Cow. Carry on or tuck your toes to come into a plank. Straight line, heels up, and then knee back down on the ground. And optionally, come into line. Roll your shoulders back, make any hand adjustments to enable you to bring your elbows in, pressing down on your hands, coming back to you, tucking your toes, move your hands if you need to, coming into a soft dog, bending your knees, making feet adjustment to support the extension along your spine, straighten your legs, do one leg at a time, walking the dog, sway from side to side. And then bending both knees, come to kneeling. Hands go to the right. Give space for your left hip, left foot comes up, hands go either side of the left foot. You can stretch out a little bit here if you want to, just enjoy that stretch. Tucking your right toes under, abdomen in, lifting your right knee, and then stepping your right foot to your left foot. Hands go on your shin. Press your hands on your shin and lengthen from your tailbone to the top of the head. Chin comes in, back of the neck is long. Breathing out, bend your knees, elbows coming out. Inhale, pressing your hands on the shin, lengthening on your tailbone. Stay here as you exhale. Inhaling, soften your knees, press your feet into the ground. You can use your hands also to support you as you roll up to standing, and then inhaling, raising your arms, looking up or straight ahead, breathing out, lowering your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders, and then just move your neck from side to side a couple of times, freeing off the top of your spine. Bring your hands together, hands out in front, and then come however it feels good for you and how it works for you to bend your knees and come to a seated position on the mat. And once we're on the mat, your legs go outwards in front of you. And you might like to lift the flesh out from underneath your bottom.
Classically, hands are quite straight, but we're in a yoga therapy setting, so just comfortable hands. And just bounce your legs a couple of times to get the energy moving. And then extend your heels. Your toes will go up to the ceiling. And then your toes move away from you comfortably, not so much that you'll get cramped. And again, extend your heels and toes move away from you. And now just very gently start to circle your ankles in one direction, waking up your circulation. And then just very gently reverse your circle and move your ankles in the other direction. And then one last movement, and it's an immune booster because your lung meridian connects to the base of your toes. If you stretch your toes, you're boosting your immune system, your lung meridian, and just relax your toes. And then come to have your legs in a slight V. I don't mind which way you go, but bring up one leg. If you want support, you can always have a rolled up blanket or a cushion under the leg if you've got dodgy knees. Or if you really have dodgy knees, then just stay with your legs straight out. Don't worry about bringing a leg in. Just very lightly touch your hands either side. The foot of your extended leg toes up, and just sit up. Turn toward your outstretched leg. Inhaling, raise your hands up. You can look ahead, you can look up. You can hold your thumbs together. And then very gently, I am going to modify by bringing my elbows in to come forward and hold my shins. And just slightly lower my head. I'm going to breathe in, slightly come up, and breathing out, slightly lower. There are many ways to do this. This pose is called head to knee pose, or Janu Shavasana. Inhaling, lifting up, and breathing out, just coming forward slightly. So it's a hip opener, and it's also a forward bend, which is calming to the nervous system. It is a rotation as you turn towards your outstretched legs. So it ticks many boxes on the health front. And the reason opening the hips is so important for the immune system is that you have a proliferation of lymph glands on the inside of the thighs. And then inhaling, slide your hands up. Place the hand belonging to the outstretched leg and inhale, raise the hand on the bent leg upwards and look either straight ahead or upwards at your thumb. Raising your eyes upwards like this disconnects the eyes from the stress centers of the brain. You lose perspective, so it's almost like a new mindfulness exercise. And then breathing out, lower your hand. Take hold of your bent knee if it is bent and lift your knee up. Just slide your leg out, hands either side, and just again bounce your knees, just stretch out. You can point and flex your feet a couple of times. And then turn to the other side. So legs apart in a slight V. And then bring in your other leg. Your foot doesn't have to come right in. It can just be close. But do feel you can keep that leg out straight if you want to. And have support under your thigh if that is also helpful for you. Sit up as you lengthen your body. Inhaling, hands go up. You might find it helpful to hold your thumbs together to give you better grip, but it's a personal preference. Turn towards your outstretched leg. And then I'm bending my elbows in for a softer descent, it's softer on the back, and sliding my hands down to my shins. Inhaling and having a sense of lengthening from my tailbone to the top of the head. And breathing out, just come down. Inhaling, have that lengthening. And then when you're settled, just stay here for a couple of breaths, enjoying the forward bend. The back of the neck is long, so you're allowing blood to flow into the head. Forward bend is always calming for the nervous system. You're also opening up along the spine, so encouraging the breath into the back of the lungs, really. And of course, you've got your adrenal glands more situated towards your back, so your stress hormones. And then sliding your hands up your leg. Take your hand behind you and inhaling, looking up to your thumb. And breathing out, lower your hand. And come to a form of soles of the feet together. The closer you bring your soles of your feet in, the harder it is. So you can have your feet as far away from you as you would like. You don't even have to hold your feet. You can hold your ankles, you can sit up and hold your shins. But for those of you who would like to include a massage of your pressure points on your feet, you can come forward and using your thumbs, just massage the soles of your feet. And remembering that your feet reflect your body in reflexology. So towards the base of your heels is your lower intestine and digestive system, and then towards your toes the other way, you've got your solar plexus in the center. You can press on that. That's a great stress release. Just enjoy exploring the massage, but the function of the pose, which is with the hips being open, is very boosting for, again, the immune system. And it's the one exercise that they will include for men and prostate health because it's opening your lymph glands. Just bounce your knees, you can hold on to your shins, you're distributing the energy that's accumulated. Quite often it's believed at the base of the spine. That's the whole principle of one type of yoga, Kundalini yoga. You're moving the energy up. And then just putting your hands underneath, lifting up. Coming now to roll to the side, coming to kneeling, and we're just going to transition. That movement that we've done or been doing is very much associated with the base chakra. And we're just coming up a little bit further behind the spine to the abdominal area. So we're going to mark transition by cat, your cat, and cow. And once again, cat and cow. And then just bring your bottom to the side. Come to stretch your legs out. And I might just demonstrate this before you do it. It's a sacral or lower sacral twist, so it doesn't matter to me which side you do. But I'm lying, I'm bringing one leg in, that you can see me, and then I'm just rolling to the side. You can have a cushion underneath. You can have your hand on your waist. The other hand can be holding your thigh. You can raise your hand up behind you, or if you really want to stretch under the arms, it's a strong stretch, so you can open your hand or arm, the opposite arm like a book, and just take a couple of breaths. I'm going to just put my hand on my waist. So this works, of course, on your lower abdominal organs and is very beneficial for almost refreshing the lower abdominal area. your face, your head can turn away from the direction of your knee. Now roll onto your back and hug both knees into the chest and just rock from side to side before we come to the other side. And then extend the other leg along the ground, keeping hold of the knee that you're going to move over. And then when you're ready, just roll to the other side. Your hand can go on your thigh and you can put your hand on your waist or your hand above you, a little bit like a sleeping baby, or out to the side like a book. Breathing in and out. You can always take support under the bent knee. Then rolling back once more onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest, and rocking very, very gently from side to side. And then from here, we're going to do an upside down forward bend. So you can do one of two things, and you choose which works for you. You can either place your hands underneath your backs of your legs, supporting you as you lift your legs up to the ceiling, and slightly open your feet just to rock from side to side. Or you can come into happy baby pose, where you take hold of the soles of your feet. And even here there's a modification. You can do complete happy baby pose. Or you can do half happy baby pose by doing one leg at a time. 4 options. I'm doing half happy baby pose. This is complete happy baby pose. It's a stronger pose, very opening for the hips. And then you can also do this, just supporting your legs as you go from side to side. We are in this position compensating for the twist that we did previously. So now bend your knees, hugging your knees into your chest once more, going from side to side. And then roll to one side. If it's available to you, roll to the right side, away from your heart, and then coming up in your own time to a seated position. And we're going to move, leaving the lower abdominal area. We're moving up to the digestive system. So imagine the inside of your spine, and it's behind your navel, but just in front of your back, the inside of your spine. So the transition here, instead of cat-cow, we're going to do a token transition by holding either the knees or the shins and lengthening the spine and then stretching in effectively your cat-cow. This is a seated cat-cow position. If your knees are playing you up, then you can do this with your legs straight out in front of you. Cat-cow. And now we settle to work on the manipura or the digestive system. It's an energy chakra point. So think of all the digestive enzymes. This is linked to the element of fire. There are many ways to do this, and I'm going to modify that. So lengthening your body, and we're going to come into a very simple twist at this level. Turn, placing your hands on your thigh, either upwards or down. Use your hand to support you. And your head should be the last thing that turns, and only as much as you feel able to turn it. Inhale as you lengthen your spine. You might like to press down into the ground. And then, breathing out, turn. Just check that your shoulder is relaxed, is away from your ear. And take an in and an out breath here. Come back to the center. Hold your knees as you inhale, lengthen the spine. And then breathing out, turn to the other direction. Either hand on the knee, or palm turns upward. On the knee gives you more grip. Press your hand into the ground and lengthen the spine. And breathing out, turn into the other direction. Press your hand down into the ground, lengthen your spine. Your head's the last thing to turn, and only as much as you would like. You can feel this rotation at the navel level. Fresh blood comes in as you untwist or derotate. Come back to the center. Place your hands on your knees and lengthen your body, your spine, tummy or abdomen into the spine, and just slightly come forward by sliding your hands in front of you. Chin, comes to chest, lengthen along the neck. You only come as little as far as you want to come. And then sliding your hands back up again. And once more, transitioning as we move to the heart. So, sitting up, curling in, chin to chest, inhaling, sitting up, and exhaling as you bring chin to chest. So this next one, as we come to the heart, there are a couple of versions. So the modified version is to extend your legs. Just bounce your legs once more and perhaps just toes up and toes down. So a very simple version is that I'm taking my right leg over my left, holding my right knee, sitting up, and then I'm turning as I'm holding my right knee with my left hand towards the inside of my right knee, and my right hand is behind. That's a very simple twist. But if you want to do it a little bit more complicated, then you can come into a more complicated one. I'm bending my underneath leg up, so that it's a more pretzel twist, all optional. You'll feel this, by the way. Why would you put yourself into this pose? But if you come into a more pretzel twist, you are acting on a little muscle called the piriformis muscle, which is on the outside of your hip. And that muscle is very much implicated in lower back problems, but it's only good if you can comfortably get into it. And then come to the center, whichever pose you adopt to, just stretch your legs out again and bounce your knees. And then come to the other side. So I'm bringing my left leg over my right. I'm sitting up by hugging my knee, or just under the knee, so that I'm straightening and lengthening my spine. My toes are up to the ceiling of the outstretched leg. And then breathing out, I'm turning to move the inside of the bent leg. Inhaling, you can be very much more, you can stretch your hands out at the same time. You can just and enjoy this stretch for a couple of times. As you breathe in, lengthen, and breathe out, turn. And then come forward. Unravel your legs and just for a couple of breaths, slide your hands down your legs, come to a forward bend and breathing in and out. And then slide your hands up your legs, bend your knees, bring them to the side. We're going to come to standing, however that's good for you. Roll up vertebra by vertebra. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then step out comfortably, your feet comfortably apart. We're going to do warrior two, for those of you who are familiar with this. So I'm going to turn one foot out, one foot slightly in. And then inhaling, raising the arms, and I'm turning my head to look beyond the fingers of my front hand, stopping the front knee, taking a breath in and out. I'm going to drop my back hand, straighten my front leg as I raise my front arm, and look at my thumb. Breathing out, I'm going to go back to warrior two. I'm going to bring my feet parallel. Do put your hands on your waist if that's hurting. And then turn into the other direction. So my other foot comes out. And once more, looking beyond the fingers of the third, beyond the third fingers. Third finger of your hand, stopping the front knee. And then drop your back hand as you raise your arm upwards, look up to your thumb. And come back to warrior. Have your feet parallel. Lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders and put your hands on your waist. You might like to adjust your feet because we're going to bend our knees and either come forward into a forward fold, or you have the option of sliding your hands down and stopping your hands against your, holding your shins where it's comfortable. Bending your knees, slide your hands up your legs, and then bring your feet a little bit closer together until they're hip width apart. And then lift and roll your shoulders. And this is a Tibetan triangle, which is very different from a normal triangle. So bend your elbow and slide it up to the side of your head. If that's too strong, or you can always keep your elbow bent, but classically you're supposed to really glue the two together. And you're not going to go very far. Use your other hand to really hold your thigh and support you. I will only go a few inches as I slide my hand down. Chin tucks in to protect the neck, and feel that you're between two panes of glass. You'll feel a real lateral stretch. Press your hands into your side, tummy in to support you to slide up. And lower that hand. And then the other hand goes up. Glue, if you can, your inside of your arm to your ear. Really use your hand to support you, tummy in or lower abdomen in, and then slide the other way. Between two panes of glass, you really don't go very far at all. And then coming upright and lowering your hand, lift and roll your shoulder. Join your thumbs together, lifting your arms up, they can be bent, and just sway from side to side like a swaying palm tree. In Ayurveda and Ayurvedic yoga sequencing, this swaying palm tree is very healing for Vata elements. And you might think, well, I'm not Vata, right? How do I know if I'm Vata? But Vata is responsible for all pain. So this is an anti-pain movement as we did at the beginning, almost sway from side to side, moving your energy. Come to the center and lower your hands. So we're going to come to a balance. I'm never that brilliant at balance. I'm going to do the easy balance, but you can also perhaps follow Nikki and do a tree. So my balance is very simple. So I raise my hands up. I'm clasping. And all I do is looking ahead, lift my heels. And that's a much easier balance. Then I lower my heels and I lower my hands. But as I said, if you want to do something like a tree, then you're very welcome to do that. And just lift and roll your shoulders back. This opens one of the energy gateways into the head. So it's clarifying your head, your mind, your perspective. And then in Tibetan yoga, everything's very ceremonial as you bring your hands together and you roll or bend your knees and get down to the ground, however that suits you. So you would lower your knees to a squat and then lower your bottom. Might be ably demonstrated by Nikki, I'm not sure. I'm not going to be so elegant or evolved, and I'm just going to come to my knees and come onto my bottom. And then we're going to come for a very brief moment into legs up, but I just wanted to show you, you can do this resting your bottom on a bolster, but in the absence of a bolster, if you put your hands under your bottom cheeks, it supports your back. So we'll start by lying on the ground, knees bent, and then hug your, well, before you hug your knees into your chest, press your feet into the ground, slightly lift your bottom, and slide your hands, palms down under your bottom, and then lower your bottom. And just adjust so that your hands are comfortable. Then, hug your knees into your chest. And then, if you're comfortable, to very gently extend your feet and just wave from side to side, seaweed. As your legs gently sway like water, legs or seaweed in water, just as it sways with the ebb and flow. Legs up gives your circulation as a rest. It's moving the blood back to the heart, but it's also very rejuvenating for our glandular system. Flooding the glands, they lie along the spine and lie aligned to the chakra energy points. So this is really helpful for total rejuvenation and for complexion, by the way, because you're bringing the blood more to upwards rather than draining away. So it's just lots of benefits here. But you don't want to stay here necessarily too long. You can always put your legs against a wall and stay longer. Anyway, for now, bend your knees, hug your knees into your chest, and let's just rock from side to side, just easing out your lower back. You can rock from side to side as little or as much as you would like. And you can try hugging your knees in towards your chest, still holding your knees, just let them travel away to arm's length. It gives you a very slightly different movement, hugging your knees into your chest and then releasing them away. And one last time as you hug your knees into your chest, and then just very gently let your knees move away from you. And just come back to rocking slightly from side to side, just letting your body recover.
And then once more move towards your right side if it's available, but we're coming once more to a seated position. As we leave the heart in Tibetan heart yoga, you won't be surprised that it gets a lot of movement, and there are other movements associated with that. But we're moving now to the throat chakra. So coming into seated, a comfortable seated position, we are going to actually have our legs out. And I just wanted to mention that the throat connects to the thyroid and the parathyroid glands. So when we move our head from side to side, we're also, if you do it long enough, and long enough is about 50 times, rebalancing our part of our metabolic control. The thyroid connects, strangely enough, to the adrenals. So autoimmune conditions, as I understand it, can arise through, they must be pre-existing, of course, but the trigger can be prolonged and ongoing stress. So thyroid from head from side to side targets the thyroid and parathyroid, and head slightly up, chin slightly up, not throwing your head back, but just slightly lifting your chin and slightly lowering your chin to your chest with control, because the head's heavy, just keeping control, is the pineal and the pituitary, your master control glands. And again, you would do this about 50 times. But going back to the throat, come with your hands comfortably apart. You're sitting up, and then just very, very gently look up. Your chin can be up as little or as much as you like. You're opening your throat area. It's a very vulnerable area. It connects very much to your heart. Your hands, just move them to be comfortable. And take a few breaths here. If you press your hands down and lift your chest, it's very uplifting, and that also means that it's very mood uplifting. But then just very gently come back. And we're going to do a further movement to open at the throat, but a very modified version. So bending your knees, coming to lying on the mat, your feet are hip width apart. We're going to do a very modified version of bridge. Come to your elbows, and then come to lying. As I said, your feet are hip width apart. Just maybe lift your bottom and place it back down again to get comfortable. And feel that you can adjust your feet at any time. We start with hands down, and the chin is, well, it's not up to the ceiling, it's just feel that the back of your neck is long. As you breathe in, press your feet down, lift your bottom as little or as much as you would like, and start to raise your arms. They can be bent at the elbows, and carry on with your arms almost right behind you, or as however far they go, your chin's down. And then breathing out, lower your bottom vertebra by vertebra like a string of pearls back to the ground, and lower your arms. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. And then once more, place your feet on the ground, hip width apart, palms down. Press your feet down as you breathe in, lifting your bottom as little as much as you would like. And start then to raise your arms up. Chin is down, your elbows can be bent. You lower your bottom and your back down to the ground. You lower your arms and you finish, ideally, your movement, and then you finish your breath. And now once more, hug your knees into your chest and just very, very gently rock from side to side. So, although we are hugging our knees into our chest, you're not going to immediately think of child's pose. But again, this is like an upside down child's pose. So once more, just enjoy hugging your knees into your chest and choose whether you rock from side to side, whether you hug your knees in towards your chest and let them go away from your chest. Whatever you do is up to you, or you can do a mixture. You're just letting the body settle from the movements that we've made. And then place your feet once more on the ground, support them under your legs, they're hip width apart. And place your hands on your abdomen. Your elbows are out to the side. And just very gently let the knees, both knees drop in the same direction. Your hip will lift from the ground. Come back to the center and let the knees drift gently towards the other side. How much you let them drift is up to you. It could be a total movement or right down to the ground. And as you move from side to side, just let your fingers rest on your abdomen, almost lightly touching your abdomen, giving it the merest massage. The acupressure points around your navel link to all the organs in your body. So you're very gently, not properly, but just very, very gently touching to your abdominal organs. Your head can turn away from your knee, the direction of your knees. That's fine too. And then just very gently come to adjust your feet, hands rest on the abdomen, and just for a couple of breaths, notice your abdomen rising as you breathe in, and it very gently falls away from your hands as you breathe out. And then very gently either stay here or bring your legs to the ground and just for a very gentle guidance, relax. You can open your palms upwards or keep your knees bent. But just be aware of your toes. Just tighten your toes and release them. Tighten your legs, tighten your bottom and release. Lift your chest up from the floor and just relax it down. Tighten your fists and release. Consciously lift your shoulders up towards your ears and release back down away from your ears. And finally, just let your head turn from one side to the center and then turn to the other side and come to the center. And we'll finish by very breathing in, bringing our attention to the base of our nostrils, breathing in and noticing the air cooler as it comes in, breathing into a point in the center of the head as you imagine that, and then breathing out through the nostrils again. Once more, breathing into the center of the head, and this time letting the breath like a shower whisk all the way down through your body, leaving your feet to the soles of your feet. And one more time, breathing in through the nose to a point in the center of your head and breathing out all the way down, misting the air, taking anything you don't want away with you and moving through the soles of your feet. Begin to hug your knees into your chest. And once more, rock from side to side before we come up for our final seated position to end the class. So roll to the side, come up to the seated position. Comfortably, taking your time.
and thought, word, deed.
Thank you very much.